More and more people are looking to find peace and balance in life now more than ever, but less and less even know what that means or how to get there. The idea of balance remains stuck in an archaic corporate worldview. We are told if we work hard, eat right, and manage our time better, we will be able to achieve it all: work, kids, friends, health, happiness. Yet so many are still struggling to reach it. But what if finding balance was about more than just being able to juggle your daily responsibilities? What if the role of balance went far beyond your work, family, or diet? What if finding true balance and alignment in life was less about our physical form and desires and more about our energetic ones instead? Welcome to Halfway to Hippie, the podcast where we explore different topics like spirituality, alternative forms of healing, starseeds, alternate dimensions, and so much more. Hi, I'm Annette Schmidt, your host and self-proclaimed wannabe hippie who is on a mission to answer questions like, what exactly is the fifth dimension and how do we get there? Are aliens real or is it all just a government hoax? Oh, and what about psychedelics? Are they actually safe and should we be using them? So buckle up because we are taking a trip to see just how deep the rabbit hole really goes. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode. Today I get to talk with Jenna Davi, an international yoga teacher and retreat leader specializing in the chakras and transformational experiences. She is the creator of Chakra Codes, a system of self-development and alignment using your unique chakra code and the 9 chakra system through an energetic perspective. Jenna has traveled the world teaching chakra psychology, archetypal imprinting, and energetic movement. And through her teachings, her clients have received a deeper perspective of themselves, revealing their unique coding and purpose, accessing creativity, and guiding them in experiencing higher levels of consciousness and spiritual awakening. So Jenna, welcome, and thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
I am so excited to have you and to hang out today. So before we hop into chakras, first I'd like to get to know a little bit more about what inspired you to start exploring the world of chakras to begin with.
Yeah, well, that's a good question. I felt this is going to be a long explanation to a short, so it should be a short answer. I fell in love with surfing, and the only way I had this goal that I wanted to surf all the most epic spots and the epic islands in the world. The only way that I could go there is if I could do an exchange by teaching yoga. So it's like, oh, darn, I have to get yoga certified real quick before I can then work at these lodges so I can just surf my face off all day. And I chose a Pyramid Yoga Center in Thailand. And it was all chakra based. I didn't know what a chakra was. I didn't really care about yoga. I just wanted to go surf, really get myself to surf. And I spent 3 months, my first time in Thailand over there, learning about the chakras, completely changed my life. And now here I am 6 years later, now created chakra codes. But I never expected the chakras to take over my life the way they have.
It is amazing. So it's interesting that you said that you went to do yoga to learn about the chakras, because I recently took up yoga and I thought that maybe there would be some talk of chakras because you see that on Instagram and TV, and you do a certain pose and it helps release energy. And I feel like yoga in Western society isn't as intuitive when it comes to chakras. So can you break down what a chakra is and its relationship to yoga?
Totally. So I say chakra, but in India, it's like chakra, but I'm not Indian and it just feels better for me to say chakra. But the proper pronunciation is chakra, and it means, in Sanskrit, means wheel. So it's basically a wheel of energy. And especially when you look at these pictures of chakras, they're circles, usually a circle of energy or a wheel of energy. And a chakra can be created by thought too. You have a thought, that's a neuropeptide in your brain. That's literally energy sparking. That could be considered a chakra. There's a vortex around circling the earth. That's known as a torus that goes in and then around like this. That is technically a chakra. It's just a wheel of energy. And when it comes to yoga, a lot of people don't know this, and why would they? But when it comes to yoga, there's so many different limbs of yoga, and asana, which is the poses, is just one. And in the West, it became really popularized and very hip to do yoga, the asana. But there is energetics, there's visualization, there's pranayama, which is breathing, there's samadhi, there's all these things that are very deep levels of what yoga really is. So it gets pretty deep, but the chakras are a part of yoga and the energetics.
So when we are looking at, like you said, those circles that we see associated with yoga and chakras, and we're looking at how many there are.
Yeah.
So I believe there's, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe there's 7 that are normally highlighted. How many are there? Because then also too, we have now this new like human design where I've heard that says there's more chakras than the actual 7. So how many chakras are there actually?
Yeah, that's a hard, so gosh, there's so many different schools of thought. And a lot of people know about the 7, like you said, from the root all the way to the crown. I learned the 9. There's 2 extra ones. When it comes to the chakra codes, I work with those 9. But apparently, and I do believe this is true, there is thousands upon thousands of chakras within us because, as I said before, a chakra is just a wheel of energy. A thought that you think is a spark of a wheel of energy. So that's a chakra. You know, people talk about the nadis in, Reiki and massage and Thai massage. Like you have all these nadis, these points of energy all over your body, which is technically a chakra. So, I mean, we're talking about billions of chakras. But I think what the major chakras are the 9. And I say the 9 because I really use them a lot. But, 7 have also been used all throughout, especially in the West in yoga, because the 7 energy centers that the ancients have discovered really do embody these different psychological and biological and physiological aspects of our bodies. And they do come up and down our spine, these major 7 or 9. The last 2 are very etheric. They're very spiritual numbers. And I don't think that they've been brought into the West because they're so spiritual. There's no body to them. And we're very physical here on Earth. So the first 7 are very easy for the human mind to make tangible.
So what are those other 2? Can you tell us a little bit more about those?
So there's the 8th and the 9th chakra, and the 8th, and in the chakra codes, I've also archetyped them. For example, the root chakra is the pioneer. They're kind of like, almost like Native Americans. They're very close to earth. They love working with earth. They're all about their tribe. So it's very rooted. Then you have the crown, which I've nicknamed the royal because it's, very aware and they're very astute and they're great leaders and they're all about spiritual enlightenment. And then there's the ones in between. Okay. So then you have the 8th chakra, which is located on your left-hand side, just up above the body. So if you have the crown here, the 8th and the 9th create almost like a triangle. So you have the 8th here, the 9th here. And the 8th chakra is that of the mystic. So the 8th chakra is kind of like the dark side of the moon. They are spiritual, they're feminine in nature, and they're very fortunate. They're fortunate because they have the 9th chakra energy, which is that of source, radiating upon them. So people that are dominant or very charged in this chakra tend to find themselves always in very fortunate and lucky situations. And they're great with finance. They're really good with Bitcoin, and they're kind of like the Robin Hoods. They like to steal from the rich and give to the poor. So they're very risk-taking. They're the mystic. They're just very mystical. And then the 9th chakra is that of source. They're the highest as far as spirituality. They end up being humanitarians. They're just very like Gandhi, Yoda type energy, this energy. And everyone has all 9 chakras within them. But according to the chakra codes, everyone has a dominant chakra and other parts of their coding. But yeah, so that's the 8th and the 9th. And whether they're in your coding or not, you still have access to them. You will always be working with all 9 chakras.
That is blowing my mind because I don't think I've ever seen the triangles at all. So you were mentioning how everyone has a dominant chakra. So how do we figure out what our dominant chakra is? And then what does that mean? Is that like our zodiac symbol?
Absolutely. It's very similar. It's kind of like your star sign. If you're a Taurus, you have all these qualities and your dominant chakra embodies your purpose. That's a big one. It's your life purpose, your dharmic purpose, which is your soul purpose, and your karmic, which is their human purpose. And it also tells you about your innate gifts and traits. your habits. And if you're going to be imbalanced, it'll almost always happen from your dominant chakra, because that's the chakra that's lit up for you your entire life. And then you have other chakras that influence you each year and month, but that gets into a person's birth chart. But when it comes to a person's unique coding, the star of the show is your dominant chakra.
So how do we figure out what our dominant chakra is?
Yeah. So I teach workshops on this, but there is an ancient code, an ancient calculation to figure this out. So maybe in another podcast, or if someone's interested, I'm going to make a course on my website and you could easily take it or take my workshop. But I have done the coding for you. If you'd like me to tell you your dominant.
Please. I'm so curious. Yes.
So your dominant chakra is actually the third chakra, and that's the warrior. So it's right at your solar plexus.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's actually masculine in energy, and you actually have a very unique coding. It's hard because there's so much more. You have your dominant, but then you also have your subdominant, and you have your gift and your guide. So when you start layering all of them, who you are really starts to take form, but your dominant is fire. So people that are dominant in this are go-getters. Like they get shit done, and they make things happen, and they feel really good working, and you're fueled by passion. If you're doing anything that is not passionate for you, you're really not going to feel good. For you specifically, I wanted to ask, do you paint, or have you ever done visual art, or like architecture, or anything kind of like with looking and drawing and putting things together?
So I don't paint. I come from a family of painters and very artistic people. I went down the route of writing though. So I do it as far as putting things together. I do storytelling and creative fiction. So I put things together in that way, but I do it in words versus, but I do write in pictures, if that makes sense. Like I'm so descriptive when I write. Sometimes I have to bring it back a little.
Oh no, that's good. Well, I was just you do have the throat chakra in your coding. So everyone has 4 chakras in their coding, and you do have throat in there as well. But I was going to say, I think you would do really well with, like, I don't know, there's a lot of visual art in there for you somewhere. I don't know how, but that's in your coding. And especially with the fire is also very visual, because they see what they want and they're going to go get it. So you have that in you really strong.
Ooh, I like that. Okay. And honestly, I've never tried to take up drawing. So like, it's something maybe I should try, because like I said, a lot of my family is really gifted at it, and I don't know why. I just never did it. Like I never thought to do it.
It could also be, it's the manifester you have. The manifester is very visual as well. So it could also just be, if you put your mind to something and you see the future of it, like you see the steps you need to take, like you put together the picture, it'll happen for you. That's very strong for you.
Oh gosh, I need to start visualizing, you guys. I need to start visualizing. Yes. So what impacts our chakras then?
That's such a good question. So your psychology does. Let's say your third chakra dominant, which is all about go-getting and pursuing. What happens often with the third chakra is it's almost too much fire, and you end up getting stressed out. So your mental state, you start getting stressed out, and then your chakra, your energies start getting really out of balance, because if you're super stressed out, you're not taking care of yourself, which is a heart chakra. So then your heart chakra energy starts to diminish. And then if your heart chakra is diminishing, your throat chakra is going to turn off, because if you don't take care of yourself and your feelings, how are you ever going to express it out? And then all of a sudden, all your chakras, which should be more or less in alignment, they should not be perfect. That's a whole other conversation. But you want your chakras to be like just going in and out of the line, the alignment line. But if one chakra is off, all the other chakras are going to compensate. And it's your psychology, your state of mind, also how you're taking care of your body. The body, mind, and energetics and spirituality, we cannot survive without the other. And that's why there's a lot of people that strive to be these yogis that are in their caves and they're living off the oxygen, the prana from the air, and they're not eating, and they're in meditation constantly. But that's not yoga. That's an extreme, and people think that's the goal, but it's not. We're here on earth. And we have to understand how to balance all of those aspects of ourselves so we can really enjoy being here.
So when we feel like we are out of balance, I guess this is kind of a two-part question. For those who don't know who or which is their dominant chakra, if they're feeling out of balance, how can they get back into an alignment? And is one chakra more important than another? Because like, as I heard you talking about that, I was like, okay, but where do I start? Do I start with my heart chakra, my warrior? Like which one?
Yeah, that's a great question. So there's a few techniques to look at this. One is I always look at the person's dominant chakra, because if I know what their dominant is, that's like the key. That's the key. Because you can work on so many different chakras. Like I can always be working on your heart. But then I feel like, oh, wait, your dominance, the fire. Whoa, are you overworking yourself? Like, do you feel passionate about what you're doing? Are you exercising? Like, once you start asking those questions, that can normally not fix. We're always going to be working. That's the thing. There's never perfection. That's a great key in. However, you do not need to know your dominant chakra at all to feel better. You just need to start tuning into your body. You need to start tuning into yourself. So the other technique is exactly that. Just like close your eyes and feel. And it does help, obviously, if you know some of the basics of the chakras, because if I said, I feel really influenced all the time, like I have no boundaries and I feel like teased, or like I care so much about what other people think. Like if you tune in and you find out that's really what's causing you the most disruption, if you're familiar with the chakras, you would know that's a second chakra imbalance, but not a lot of people know that. So that's when they would do their own research or come to someone like me, or take that knowledge and start understanding, okay, I really care about what people think. So I need to put up boundaries, and like, I really have to have confidence in myself. And that's pulling down from the third chakra. So another technique is, you know, which chakra is out of balance, and there's a pulling technique. So if, for example, I feel like I'm being teased and I don't have a lot of confidence, second chakra, I would pull up from the chakra above, which is the fire, yours. And I would pull that energy of, I need to have more confidence. I need to trust myself a little bit more. I need to be more warrior-like in the way I present myself and what I want to do, and not let people tear me down. Another way is always, no one can ever go wrong with this one. Always work on your first chakra first. And that is Muladhara. That's the root. And the root really encompasses your vehicle, your body. So again, lots with exercise. Are you taking care of your body? Not only eating and working out, but are you sleeping? And your psychology. It all like ravels in with each other. Is are you taking care of your vessel? And that's Muladhara chakra. Everybody can always start off with that. You can't go wrong starting there.
So I have to ask, because I am such an impatient person, how long is this going to take, Jenna?
I don't think you're going to like the answer.
Oh no, this can't be done in a weekend. Do you have a retreat?
Never ending. I think what the answer everyone is looking for is, how can I just be at peace with the situation? Because it's not only you can control yourself, but you can't control them, this, that. And whatever they do, it's going to affect your energy, because, and this is where it gets a little spiritual. In my eyes, we are all one. We are all one. We're all connected. So what I do is going to affect someone in China. What they do is going to affect someone in Afghanistan, whatever. So we will not ever come to peace and unity and complete realignment until every single soul in this universe that we've created comes back into alignment. And that's why it's this thing of, if you see someone suffering, that's literally you suffering. It's just, we've divided ourselves into our own specific vessel. We forget how connected we all are. And that's why it's kind of driving me. We don't have to talk about politics, but it's driving me crazy hearing about people going, the vaccinated, the unvaxxed, or this and that. It's like, bro, we're all in this together. We need to find a solution together and not fight each other. But what you can do is you can only work on yourself, because that in turn will ripple effect with everyone else. So I don't know if it's going to be our lifetimes when we'll find peace and harmony within everybody. But it's also learning to do mind control, because everything's going to happen. There's no such thing as pain or happiness necessarily. There is negative and positive energy, and our human brain likes to feel and likes to label things to, oh, that hurts and that's bad, or that's good and that feels good. But really, if you took away the emotion, it's just things. It's just energy in motion. So the more that we're able to control the spectrum of our perspective and bring it into a more, instead of going like this all the time, like depression, manic, it's more just like enjoyable. Oh, challenge, enjoy, challenge. And it keeps us here instead of out of control.
I love how you use the word challenge instead of like something like, because that's feels so much more inspiring and positive, right? Than using something like, oh, like you said, negative or a struggle, because it can be a struggle sometimes.
Oh my God. Yeah. I think we just have to learn how to step out of our bodies and perceive everything and go, okay, how can I not let my emotions take the better of me? And this is a hard one for the heart chakras. A lot of us have a lot of heart, but if you're heart chakra dominant, your challenge is keeping your emotions in check. So I feel for the heart chakras right now because it's hard. It's hard to keep calm.
How do we know then when we are in alignment? Is it just that we'll feel at peace? And I guess my question then is, how do we know we're at peace? Mm-hmm. Like, can you quantify? I don't want to say quantify because that's measuring, but can you describe kind of like what we would feel or how we would know?
Yeah. So let me ask you this. When was the last time you felt completely at peace?
Honestly, it's when I'm creating.
Okay.
So whether I'm writing or, for example, I've been working on one of the solo episodes for the podcast before we hopped on. And I was like, yes, this is, but I think that's the most at peace I probably have ever felt.
Can I say, are you probably at peace because you're not thinking about anything else but just that? And you're so passionate about it, you're just all in kind of thing?
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's probably because I'm not worried about what's going on in the world. I'm not worried about making dinner. I think I'm just very focused on what am I creating.
Yeah. And it's a passion of yours, right?
Yeah.
So for you, especially as third chakra, you're 100% focused on your passion. That's alignment. And I think for a lot of people, for me, even something as simple as playing soccer, I'm not thinking about anything else. I'm just having fun. And I'm not worried, and I'm using my body, my mind, I'm in with community. And, a lot of people practice meditation because they're trying to find that state of complete focus, but it's not only focus, you're just there and you're in the present. You're not thinking about what just happened or what's going to happen. And you're completely clear of any distractions of past or future. You're just in the present. So I do believe alignment, it's not something I feel is meant to be constant. I think that's a different dimension, a different world that we have not yet evolved to, because this realm is dual. It's dual. You have black and white, and our feelings really solidify that. So I really believe when you hit these moments of alignment, I do feel that you have expanded yourself beyond the human experience, and you're just completely in a present moment, which I feel like is harder and harder for us, especially with having phones. I mean, I can't even sit, and I have a pretty strong practice of meditation, and I can't even sit there without going, oh, let me check my phone. Our brains like to take over, but if we can override our brain and let our spirit be here now, that's alignment. You go beyond chakras and energy. You're just out.
That honestly it does sound like bliss. And like you said, I think for myself, I will find moments of that, like when I'm writing. And then just like you, when you said you're meditating, you're thinking like, oh, I got to check my phone. I think the same thing comes up. We have like those interrupting thoughts that come up and we're like, oh, this has to, takes us away, or I have to check the mail. I have to do this.
Yeah. And if you think about it, like you're human, and then you just write all the things that are constantly on your mind or distracting you all the time, like all your to-dos, all your dreams, your hopes, anything that's in the very least bothering you, even taking up even positive headspace. But it's still a little bit of a stress because like, oh, I have these dreams and it makes me happy, but how am I going to get there? How long? Blah, blah. When you start like erasing all of the things and then you just come down to you by yourself, that's present moment. And you have nothing to make you feel out of alignment. There's no pressure. There's no stress. I mean, we've kind of created this reality for us. Back in the day, we would just be born and we would learn survival skills. We would be out in nature and all we cared about was we had food and we spent most of the day hunting the food. And then we'd come back home and cook and dance and tell stories near the fire. And that was it. That was really peaceful other than having to worry about being killed by an animal or like some predator. But now we've created so many predators for us. So I think alignment, again, is going to take more than just the personal feeling aligned. It's going to have to get the whole world to change its perspective on what's important, because I think we've put way too much pressure on ourselves. And I think it's just stepping back and being like, hold on, I am the creator of my reality. And I really am happy and aligned just as I am. If I could just stop thinking about the past and the future, it's fine,
And I think it's so important that you say that, because as you were just saying that, what my thought went to was the idea of how other people will influence us in our moods. So I'm guessing then that they can influence our chakras, right? Because that's all driven by our own internal energy. Is that right?
Yeah. And it depends. I mean, and I'm sure you've met these people. There's people that like love getting in other people's drama and they have no boundaries. And if someone else is sad, then they want to be sad. Not only, but they want to get why are you sad? And then you have the other people that are so confident in themselves. They're just like, okay, I can listen, but I don't care. And they're still on their own way. People that are more influenced have a harder time not letting other people's energy influence them. But if you're really strong and firm in who you are, you'll see this takes practice and also maturity and growth and life. But if someone comes at you with some ridiculousness, you're going to be able to be like, okay, I see it. I hear it. Okay. And then you're just going to not let it affect you. Also, if you're second chakra dominant, which is Swadhisthana, the water element, people that are dominant in the chakra definitely have a harder time putting up those boundaries because they're all about flowing with everything. So, and people could feel it too. If you're, for you, your third chakra, I have a feeling you're pretty good at like being pretty confident and not letting other people get in your space.
I am. And I was actually just having this conversation. I don't feel like I'm an empath. I empathize with people 100%. And like now that I've had a son, I can't watch the scary parts of movies, or like, like all of that. But I honestly don't feel like I absorb people's energy. Instead, I feel like I more penetrate or kind of influence it. However I'm feeling, I notice that like I can really impact a room. And I don't know if that's like my, energy or, what it is, but I try to be careful then. Like if I'm in a bad mood, I'd be like, okay, let's rub myself up and be happy because I don't want to be the Debbie Downer of the group, things like that.
Yeah, that's in you. The warrior, man. You have some really strong armor from other people, and you can also like cut really hard. And the warriors, they're very magnetic. You walk into a room and everyone just kind of like goes to you because you're shiny and bright. And yeah. That's totally within you.
Okay. I love it. Shiny and bright. That, shiny objects. That's me over here. So I'm thinking more as we're talking about like the dominant chakra, and I know it's a calculation. I'm just wondering, is it something that is ancestral at all? Like, is it something that spans lineages, or do we have it in common with our parents? And that's why maybe our energy is similar or different?
I have found most of the time people that I do channel a little bit too. So this is where this is coming from. The readings that I've done, I've found that most people always come down with the same energy. So for example, and not always, but most of the time, you would probably almost always come down with this same third chakra energy, or you would have your karmic chakra be the third chakra. So you're always, because the energy that you come in, it's like a sliver of energy that you kind of just swing in on, and it's part of you. And as far as ancestral, I have noticed when I've done like mother-daughter readings that like one lady I did, not only was she first chakra dominant, but her karmic chakra was also first chakra, and her daughter was second chakra dominant and also had second chakra karmic. They were both like double numbers. And I was like, no surprise. So I truly believe that all of it is a part of your own self evolution. So it is karmic. Like you did not come down with these numbers by chance. Like this was very strategic for you. The time, the numbers, the coding, everything, so that your soul could have the energy to help it fulfill its purpose.
That so beautifully leads into my next question I had was, is there a way for us to call on the energy of our chakras? So like you said, like you mentioned manifestation for mine. And I think we're all very, thanks to, New Age thought and law of attraction, The Secret, we're all very familiar with like manifestation. But for the other chakras, like the two extras, is there a way for us to call on those energies and use them in our lives?
Yes. I can't tell you how powerful visualization is. I don't know if you knew this, but did you know if you close your eyes and you visualize, let's say, yourself being cold in a cold, icy lake that's frozen over, and you visualize it to the point that you truly believe that you're in that lake, your body will react as if it is in that lake. So then you might start feeling cold. You might start shivering. Your eyes might start being dilated, or your pores might start to shrink together. So same with the chakras. Even if you don't fully understand the psychology, the location, the colors, whatever, but you have a general sense of where they are, you sit in meditation or whatever, you close your eyes and you visualize the eighth or the ninth chakra and you feel it. That's all that needs to happen to charge it. Now, if you start understanding its location better, its psychology, for example, let's say I'm having like a really unlucky month, like I'm losing money, I'm tripping all the time, I just feel totally out of whack and nothing's going right. And I know, okay, if I focus on the eighth chakra to bring back this balance of fortune and luck and doing well with money, I sit there, I focus on it, I visualize its color, which is gold. And I just hang with it. I hang there. I do that for 3 or 5 minutes and I do that consistently. You will be very surprised how things start, coincidences, synchronicities start kind of falling in your lap. Same with the first chakra, which like if you feel like, oh, I have a lack of purpose, I feel like I don't trust myself, I don't trust my body, like anything first chakra out of balance, you sit there and you visualize the color, the location, you breathe with it. There's different techniques, but by simply doing that alone is enough. Just trust that your body, I mean, these are ancient techniques. I mean, the yogis thousands of years ago knew about this. I don't know how they knew about it, but they knew it enough. I mean, look, it's still survived this long ass time and now it's in Western civilization and they've had books burned. And I mean, they've like literally had magic and we have that magic too. So it's visualization and using your brain, not letting the brain use you.
So one thing that I have to ask then is you mentioned how one of them was purpose. How can someone use their chakras to figure out their purpose?
Yeah. That's a great question. So each chakra has a different, and I'll go through all of them. So for example, the first chakra, their purpose is to pioneer. And this is going to sound very broad, but depending on what your other chakras are, help me at least determine exactly pinpoint it. But in a general sense, the first chakras are here to pioneer a new way of life. And so a lot of people can manifest that as a CEO, a homemaker. They're really good at creating family and creating tribe that way. So anything that is very pioneering. The second chakra, their purpose in life is to bring people together. Again, that's very broad, but they could do event planning. Okay, they could be the person to bring the unvaccinated and the vaccinated in thought together. Like it's all about bringing peace. If they're the peacemakers. The warrior is literally of that, the warrior to do, go, pursue, make shit happen. The heart is the healer. So they usually find themselves in healing modalities or jobs like a doctor, massage therapist, psychologist, things like this. The throat, they're the ones, their purpose is to express. So they love to be actors and entertainers, but also politicians. So their purpose is to express. The Ajna chakra, the manifester, is to manifest. So Einstein, for example, had a very strong Ajna chakra. They're very good at seeing something and making it tangible. The crown, they're natural born leaders. The eighth, they are the mystics, and they're the ones that are kind of like those Robin Hoods, going to steal from the rich, bring to the poor. And then you have the ninth, which are humanitarians. So everyone can fall into one of these, and they're very broad. For example, yours is the warrior, to go get, to do, to achieve. What does that mean? It can mean so much for the person, but just know that is your dominant energy. So it's the opposite of the healer. The healer is to help others, to really give. The warrior is to achieve and to execute. Let's say that you're the warrior, but you're doing more feminine things like healing, and it might not feel so good. You might always feel this resistance like, God, I know I'm a doctor or a healer, but I really want to do something like transform the world. Their energy will feel off. Or for you, I bet you if all you did was, and I'm not saying this is a bad thing, but let's just say you were just a stay-at-home mom. I'm sure you would feel like, that's great, but God, you want to do something, you know?
It's so funny you say that because I'm a stay-at-home mom.
Right, that's what I said. But now you have this awesome podcast because it's in your energy. It's not in your energy to just give. Other people can do that, like give as in healing and taking care. No, yours is like, I want to change the world. I want to make an impact. I want to do something big. That's the warrior.
Oh, I agree with that 100%. 100%. I also wanted to ask, because we were talking about our chakras and their effects they have, and I'm wondering what about healing in our chakras?
Yeah. No matter what, always go to the heart for healing. It truly is. And I think a lot of people know about the heart because it is strong. I mean, I think out of all the chakras, if you sit and you visualize and you focus on your heart and you breathe there and you really focus there, almost everyone will feel some warmth or some like liftedness. That is heart energy. So always with healing, go to the heart. Obviously, if you know your dominant chakra, it helps. Because, for example, I'm just going to use you because I know your chakra. If you're stressed out, you know that it's a third chakra imbalance, and you rebalance by healing the stress and the overwork. So you're always healing it through the heart, but you're focusing on the third chakra imbalance, which is overworked, overstressed, doing too much, not resting.
Does that count then for physical healing as well? Because in my head, I'm like, I can see how like being overstressed is going to express or manifest itself in physical ways. So could we say like if we have a physical ailment, it could tie back to healing one of our chakras, like starting at the heart?
Yes. So this is where it gets kind of complicated. There's so many different ways to do it. One is simply, if you think about it, our brain controls the rest of our body. Our brain manifests anything. So let's say that we have a broken foot. If you truly were able to control your brain and your mind and not let it control you, because let's admit it, most of the time we feel like our minds are in control and not us. If you truly had the willpower and the control over your brain, you could easily heal your foot faster than normal because you'd be able to go in there and be like, okay, brain, I need you to send more oxygen, more nutrients. I need you to build more cells to get those bones to fuse together faster. Like, let's hurry this up. You could literally sit there in meditation and visualize your foot healing, and then it would heal. My teacher, who I learned from, has healed people from cancer, from all sorts of things through breath, visualization, and of course, exercise and food choices. But he teaches his clients this visualization and how to control your brain so that you can control your entire system. So that's one way. One way is literally, if anything else, whether you believe it or not, if there's something physically going on in your body, meditate and visualize your body in complete harmony and in health. Because if you do 5 minutes of that every day and you truly see it and believe it, your brain will hear you and it will start sending out the right signals to tell the rest of your body to follow suit in what it's thinking. Do as much as you can. I know it sucks when things are going hard, but try not to sink down in the, oh my God, this is never going to get better. Think, no, it will. And I see it. The brain will do its work to try to match what your thoughts are. Because a thought is a neuropeptide that sparks in the brain reads it, and then tells the rest of the body what to do for that neuropeptide that was sparked. And you spark the neuropeptide, the thought. That's one of them. Also, each chakra has a different body part associated with it. For example, the second chakra, the lymph nodes and detoxifying. So if you know you need to detoxify, you would focus on your second chakra, and you would do also asana, yoga, to help detoxify the body. So like there's a lot of twisting and like lots of open legs and twisting with the open legs, because that's moving fluid through your lymphatic system, which will then clear any toxins in your body. If you do that while focusing on the chakra, it's very good. It's hard because there's a lot of things you need to focus on. That's why yoga truly is not easy. It's really beyond asana. If you really want to take yoga and really feel like you have superpowers, learn the chakras, learn your energetic system. And when you do each pose, focus on those chakras, and you will be so surprised the difference you'll feel.
Okay, I'm going to do that the next time I do yoga, because I have been doing it for a couple months now. Well, I mean like 6 months, 7 months. So I've gotten pretty good at the pose. Again, it's that achiever, like that competitive, I got to master these poses. So I've gotten pretty good at the poses. I feel like I'm ready to up level. So I think I'm going to take your advice and learn the chakras to figure out how can I now energetically do this pose to just... I feel like it would probably give you a challenge, because it's almost like you're meditating while you're posing in a way. Is that the idea?
Absolutely. And then you start incorporating breath with that and breath retentions. And you start feeling like a Superman, like our Superwoman. You just feel you feel charged.
So we've gone over so much information about chakras, and this has all been so amazing, Jenna. And I'm wondering though, for people who don't know where to start when it comes to learning more about chakras, where would you suggest that they go to start doing their own research?
Yeah. I mean, it's so awesome. We have Google. Like, there's so many negatives with too much internet time, but I mean, it is an amazing thing. Simply just Googling. And I am building my website, chakracodes.com, and I'm going to have all sorts of goodies on there, like a test you can take to see where you're imbalanced, with some tools that you can take as well to practice rebalancing them. I'm also going to make a course, Chakras for Beginners, just to give you the basics so that you don't have to worry about it, with a packet, and it has everything in there. But in the meantime, yeah, Googling is totally fine, or going to chakra yoga classes if there's any available. Usually people don't specify the class as chakra yoga, but there are some studios out there like that. Workshops are always fun. I haven't announced it yet, but I'm going to be leading a retreat in Costa Rica in June of 2022 called Journey Through the Chakras. And every day we'll be doing 2 yoga classes. In the morning, we'll have the masculine chakras. And then in the evening, we'll have the feminine. And so it's basically a sun and a moon practice with a surf lesson and horseback riding.
You have me sold at Costa Rica and chakras with Jenna.
Oh, man. It's going to be so fun. And the surfing is great. The jungle's great. But if you can't make the retreat, Googling is totally fine. Or email me.
Okay, so where can our listeners find more about you, and what is your website? I know you said you're working on it, but when it's up and running, so that way we can bookmark it now.
Oh, thank you. It's chakracodes.com. There is a landing page, and I do have a freebie out right now. It's affirmations workbook. So it's for free, and it really helps. That's a great way to rebalance your chakras. So if you feel unbalanced anywhere, you find the affirmation, and there's directions on how to charge your chakras that way. And you can find me on the Instagram, chakra.codes. And I love putting all sorts of information on the chakras there. So I try to post once a day, so there's always new content coming out. And on Facebook, Chakra Codes.
Jenna, thank you so much for taking the time to explain chakras with us. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
So what do you think? Are your chakras the key to finding true alignment and balance in life? Or is the traditional view of hard work and time management still the way to go? Let me know by leaving a review or sending a DM on Instagram at halfway.to.hippie.